Oppenheimer is still in theaters as of September 2023, and this review will be spoiler free, but let's not waste any more time, let's get right into it. The 3-hour movie is a biopic of J. Robert Oppenheimer, played by Cillian Murphy, who was an American theoretical physicist and was also the first director of the Manhattan Project during World War II. He was appointed by General Leslie Groves Jr., played by Matt Damon, and their goal of the Manhattan Project was to create the world's first atomic bomb. Oppenheimer is known as the father of the atomic bomb due to his success around this time. The movie follows Oppenheimer's life in 3 phases or acts, such as the first phase from when he was younger. During this time, he was at university studying theoretical physics, and also they showed more of his personal life, such as how he met friends and how he fell in love. The second act is mainly set in Los Alamos, New Mexico, where this was the secret laboratory to design and test the nuclear bomb. And the third act was unexpected, but it's all about how Oppenheimer was being interrogated by the US government for being informally accused of being a communist and also a possible Soviet spy to the Russians due to his minor involvement with the Communist Party as shown in phase 1 of the story. Now, as I mentioned before, and if you've also watched the movie, then you could probably agree that the movie is definitely broken up into 3 phases. So it is pretty easy to follow along, but you're probably wondering, well, Chris, hold up now, because you keep talking about physics, and that alone sounds confusing as shit. And I would agree, but the movie did such a great job at explaining these theories with the amount of time that they had to show us. But a movie like this, I would definitely highly suggest watching with subtitles once this comes to streaming or Blu-ray, because with the dialogue, it is extremely fast-paced for damn near 3 hours straight. So although, as I mentioned, this is a great script, due to this being so fast-paced, if you're the type to go to the bathroom for like 5 minutes, you might come back and miss a whole lot about my guy's life. I personally love history films such as this because it gives the average movie viewer like myself a great teaching moment from the values and consequences to what happened to the actual man himself, that being Oppenheimer. I didn't really know much about him, so this film did such a great job at covering not only his professional life, but his personal life as well. He was definitely a charismatic yet controversial man during that time with a brilliant mind with the likes of Albert Einstein, who was also in this movie. But let's keep it real, right? I'm sure you guys could all agree to this, that this movie, Oppenheimer, would not have reached the heights of success that it did if it wasn't for the directing vision of one of the greatest directors of our current modern time, that being Christopher Nolan. This is Nolan's 3rd highest grossing release, right behind the 2008 Dark Knight movie and the 2012 The Dark Knight Rises movie, and anything that this guy puts out is definitely a hit. Anything that he puts out, I do my best to watch, and it's not because his name is Christopher like myself, it's no, because his vision, his directing style, I am a big fan of. However, I did not watch the Tenet movie. I'm slacking on that because I'm gonna keep it real. It looks boring. I'm not gonna lie to you. It looks freaking boring as hell. I'm still watch it, but I have not watched it yet. And on top of that, not Interstellar, I love that one. Inception. Inception. To this day, I watched it a few times. I'm still confused as shit. I need someone to really break it down to me what the hell that movie is about and what is going on. And no, I'm not going to hit you with a South Park reference. I do that all the time, and I'm pretty sure I already used that specific reference in one of my older videos, so I'm gonna spare you this time. I do think that the musical score in this film was lovely. However, I don't think that it beats Inception, Interstellar, or the Dark Knight trilogy, but it's still great, composed by Ludwig Göransson. However, those other films that I preferred more were composed by the legendary Hans Zimmer, so I think around this time that they may have had some type of conflicting timing issues with different projects as for why they didn't work together this time. A major shout out to the entire cast as well, because this was a star-studded group of actors. I'm talking the big-time people with just a few lines in this movie, which shows that they simply just wanted to work and collaborate with Christopher Nolan, knowing that this would be great. And did you know that the main actor in this movie, Cillian Murphy, actually auditioned in the Batman Begins movie with Christopher Nolan to be Batman, but he never got the role, so instead he got the villain role in that movie. And Christopher Nolan himself said he always saw some potential in Cillian Murphy as the actor, and I personally always been a fan of that guy. I know he's a big star in that Peaky Blinders show on Netflix, and I have yet to watch the show. I really want to watch it. I'm just so behind on everything else, but major shout out to him. I really hope that this guy wins an Oscar from this performance, because this was one of the greatest performances of all time. I mean, I think there were stories of him on set and how he would show up to set like so prepared, I mean completely focused for this role, in the zone 100%. But now here's where my review may differ from most people who watch the movie. I do recall watching this opening night at 9 p.m. on a Thursday, so with expecting a 3-hour movie, you probably know where I'm going with this, but to me the movie felt like an amazing roller coaster that just went on for a little too long. Or now that I think about it, also like a great comedy show that should have probably ended a half hour ago. What I'm trying to say, like how I mentioned before, is that this script is blazing fast with constant dialogue and video editing. So this doesn't really feel like a 3-hour movie until, like a roller coaster, you get to that big and final drop. You know your adrenaline's rushing, you know that you're expecting this, you're anticipating this big moment to happen, and once it does happen, it's absolutely beautiful and worth every second. However, once this drop is done, and the roller coaster reference, and for this movie, this reference, once the bomb does go off, I feel like as an audience, we were left with such a high at that point that from that moment onward, it was just a slow decline of excitement. But the third act, I feel like it went on for an hour straight. It's all about politics, courtroom proceedings, and government. But if you love this type of storytelling, then you might fit right in regards to like these courtroom proceedings and how this all played out. But for me, I was just kind of checked out by that point because in my opinion, at this point in the movie, it kind of felt like two movies in one. So with that being said, I know that the third act, although I may not have been the biggest fan, I know is absolutely true to what happened to Oppenheimer. And as such, it was necessary to include in this biopic since what they tried to do to him after he pretty much saved America and maybe the world was devastating. And I really do hope that Christopher Nolan and Cillian Murphy will both win Oscars because the way that they both capture these different emotions from hopefulness, anxiety, and some of the horror elements were just flawless. We could all learn so much from watching a movie like this with great real life characters, interesting themes and concepts, and with memorable quotes that will last a lifetime of cinema, but still not as good as these movie quotes.
You said bomb on an airplane.
Why'd you say it was a bomb?
No, you said that.
No, you said it.
You said that in the hotel room.
I said she was the bomb.
You can't say bomb on an airplane.
Bomb, 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 bomb.
Screaming at you at noon.
She was the bomb?
So a vibe rating for this channel means that it was a really good movie in my opinion, something that I would definitely buy on Blu-ray to add to the collection and watch once in a while. I don't know if I could call it perfect in my eyes as in a movie that I could watch like over and over and over, simply because of that third act as I mentioned, how it just felt so different from the entire movie. But you never know, the more I keep watching this, it might be a movie I love down the line. So don't shoot the messenger, or should I say blow up the messenger, because I know some people out there have to feel the same way I feel about this movie. And you know, this is just my theory at the end of the day, and we all know when it comes to theories, my guy Oppie.
What do you want from theory alone?
0 would be nice.
Exactly. So what did you guys think about the movie? If you enjoyed this movie, if you enjoyed this video, then consider liking it. And if you're new here, consider subscribing. This way you can stay updated with more fun reviews uploaded weekly. And thank you so much. I really do appreciate it. I'll see you all on the next one. Peace.